We got.
All right, Space Age Pimpin' said, "Yo, Cam, in this day and age, where would you have start your career if you was a rookie? Say you going into the draft. If you had a chance to choose, what team would you want to be a part of if you was coming in as a rookie quarterback? What team do you see?"
I want to hear your answer, but I got a good one for you.
I got a good one.
Put young Cam Newton coming out.
Hold on. You say your team.
No, for you, I want to give you your team.
Do you have a team that you think I would love to be at?
Can we say them on? If I count to three, can we go?
3.
All right.
You gonna say it too?
Yeah, I said no. I'm counting. I'm doing the countdown.
Are you saying the team?
No.
Okay, you gonna say a team?
Yeah. On the count
of 3.
All right, 1, 2, 3.
Rams.
Oh shit.
No. Sean McVay. You and Sean McVay together?
And you said Dallas?
Who does not want to be on the Dallas Cowboys?
As a rookie.
Speak it,
So
Cam.
you think you would come in and start over Dak and then
Bro, listen.
Dak
come in
ain't
over
there.
Stafford?
He's drafted how he was drafted at 1.
At number 1. In this day and age, where would you start your career? Everybody's dream is to go to a legacy franchise in a big market.
Oh, shit.
We're in this age of brand and,
But Cam, you in L.A. with Sean McVay, the creativity, the players around you.
Thinking about all
With
that.
that number 1 on,
ain't
dabbing,
thinking about all
would you dab out there or would
I
you
ain't
see
thinking
walk?
about all that.
Be walking.
I ain't thinking about all that.
Look, he understands the game. He understands the game.
What's the
With the same head coach now, you got to factor all that. That's
with Ron Rivera?
Same.
no.
With their current coach.
With Dallas head coach now.
Man, if I'm the first pick of the draft and I'm getting drafted by the Dallas Cowboys, that's everybody's dream. Contrary to what anybody may think.
Wow.
Dallas Cowboys is a team that everybody considers as the biggest team in the NFL because of marketability.
Marketability.
That's
debatable right
Market.
Who you got? Who your biggest team, bro?
Hold on. Okay, you say what you say. I'm gonna drop the mic on mine.
I'll say one of those New York teams.
Nope.
The Giants or the Giants?
Or the Giants. I would say the Giants more.
Nope.
Yeah,
so
than the Jets.
but
Yeah, I would say that.
Nope.
Up New York.
You got New York over Dallas. Bigger.
Yeah. Bigger market. Yeah.
Man, listen, bro. I don't see New York being mentioned like the Dallas Cowboys being mentioned.
Because of
Listen to
ownership.
Me. Listen to
Jerry.
Jerry.
See, listen
Jones
to the man. Listen to the man.
All people in the chokehold. Because this is the thing.
There you go.
When I went to ESPN and I was asking the common question, I'm like, why do we keep talking about the Dallas Cowboys? And they talked about it on camera and they talked about it off camera. It's like not a lot of teams
This is truth.
moves the needle.
Yeah.
Every single time you talk about
Every
the Dallas
time.
Cowboys, it's going to provoke
time.
some type of emotion from people. Yeah. So to win in Dallas, I don't think any other player would have a success story. Man, just imagine. Troy Aikman is still a god. Emmitt Smith is still a god. Deion Sanders is still a god. Michael Irvin is still a god. Nate Newton, still a god.
All of them. Yeah.
Come on, bro.
I guess.
And they ain't played in 2 decades.
I think for me,
Plus.
selfishly answering this question, because I was a fan of, even when we played against each other, I'm still a fan.
Right.
But I can just imagine what Sean McVay would do with a quarterback.
Doesn't
like
matter. You say Sean McVay. I got a Kyle Shanahan.
Oh.
There's a lot. McDaniel. In
Miami, Mike
There's
McDaniel.
It's a lot of coaches that, with my skill set at the quarterback position, they will have a field. Andy Reid.
Oh yeah,
You see
that
what
would
I'm
be.
saying? Like, it's so many beautiful offensive minds that you'll say, okay, cool. But if you're talking about where I would want to be, I think every football player only can dream about
With that star on their helmet.
that team and winning, not just playing for them and winning.
When you came out in 2011, did you want to, even though they didn't have a shot?
No.
You didn't want to play with the
You didn't
Cowboys?
know.
Because it wasn't realistic.
Okay.
I never grew up watching the Cowboys. But knowing what I know now, if you ask me that simple question,
That makes sense.
in this, what would you, man, bro? Dak Prescott has won off the field and won on the field.
Yeah, you're right.
With that check.
Yeah.
Look at
With that check.
your boy. Romo.
Tony Romo, yeah.
If
If
Tony
he went
Romo
to another
played,
franchise,
if Tony Romo played for the New York Jets, would he still have?
Nobody would care. Nobody cares.
potentially, you got to say another organization.
No, he just.
I said the
you
Jets
said
and the
Jets.
Giants.
Jets.
I said the Jets and the Giants.
You see what I'm saying?
But-
that's the impact of the star, bro.
Okay. The impact of the Giants. Michael Strahan.
Bro, he won the Super Bowl. Look at Eli Manning. They won Super Bowls, bro.
Do somebody Plaxico Burress?
So
he won a Super Bowl, but he won
sold.
To give you, hello, good people, to give you, I'm going to get to the greeting here for a second, but just think about this. Mark Sanchez, a.k.a. Butt Fumble, went to 3 AFC championship games, and nobody cares. That's far and away more than what Dak Prescott did. And where's Mark Sanchez? Where's the Sanchez? The only thing everybody knows about is Butt Fumble. Right? Eli Manning has 2 Super Bowl wins. Do you think he's as big as Tony Romo? Is he getting paid like Tony Romo? No. This truth bomb is something that we all know, but don't really recognize. The Eagles won the Super Bowl. 2 years before, they were in the Super Bowl. In 2017, they won the Super Bowl. But who are they talking about on a daily basis? Dak Prescott, Micah Parsons, Jerry Jones, Stephen Jones, the Dallas Cowboys. Hell, it's breaking news when our tight end gets engaged. That's what it is. The Dallas Cowboys moved the needle. What's up, good people and Eagle fans? Mark Holmes here, of course, with my buddy Cowboy Joe Boo, as well as the whiny, funky chicken. And as always, I want to say thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally does not work. So let me say hello to Help Miranda. What's up, Rhonda? And we have to say hello to Linda. Linda, who's not your typical Eagle fan. Lovely Linda is fair and balanced. She tells it like it is, man. And we've got Roland's Review rolling on in here. What's up? What's up? We got Help Miranda. Did I get you twice, Rhonda? And, of course, we have the lady that is Libra double dipping on us, double dipping on both channels. Appreciate that. And we have Miss Hot Sauce. And I'm burning for you. And, of course, over here we've got Curtis. Curtis in the house. What's going on, Curtis? Appreciate the condolences. Over there, we got Vinny in the house. We got Marcus Blackman. We got Dave Eagles Champ. We got Vinny Hagan. And my name is Jeff, looking for boobies. What's up? My name is Jeff. And let's see who else we got in here. Drew. Yes, Mark. And Cowboy fans, you're being pimped by the media. Your value you know what? I ain't mad at it there. Yeah, you know what, Drew? I would rather be here and have people care what, because see, if I were Tampa Bay, or if I were the Jets or Green Bay, you Eagle fans wouldn't be here. And that's half my audience right there. The fact that I can literally trigger 49er fans and we ain't done jack crap against them in forever is an amazing thing. You want to hear what's really crazy? What's really crazy is the company that got me the sponsorship for BetUS. I will forever be grateful for that sponsorship, even though betting now is, kind of, you can't do the betting now. YouTube is cracking down unless they are officially approved, and I can guarantee you that's only going to be the NFL ones. Because it gave me more time and something exciting to do with my dad this past season. It would have been nicer had the Cowboys had a better season. I had wished that we would have gotten a Super Bowl before he had passed, but maybe, just maybe it'll happen and I can look up to him. Look up to him right here. Thanks to Eric. And say, Dad, they finally did it. Dad, they finally did it again. But here's the thing, and this goes back to Wells, what's up? What's up, Mark? Sorry about your dad. God bless. Eagles don't need to be bigger than Dallas. The Eagles just need to keep winning. Well, I tell you, I started saying, okay, so the company that does sponsorships and stuff, they needed data on the demographics of things. Most of my people are between like 40 and 60. Those two age groups are the numbers where most of us are. We're an older group now, which is good for advertisers because older people generally have more money than them young bunks. Okay, those gamers, they're broke ass because they're sitting at home on their mama's couch playing PlayStation and they ain't got no money to spend. Okay, all right, so that's one thing, but they wanted to see location wise, geographically, so they know what kind of stuff to advertise. It doesn't do you any good if all your fans are in Cowboys, and we're trying to advertise for Alaska, although there are Cowboy fans in Alaska. So what's crazy is the numero uno city that, of course, my content gets views, of course, is Dallas. Of course, it's Dallas. Who would think anything else? But the number two, which sometimes some of you Eagle fans will eat a number two, is Philly. Is Philadelphia. You freaking Eagle fans. Blue Virus in the house. What's up? David, what's going on? If you ask the real question, and that's who the reigning defending champion, they won't say Dallas. It's well, you know what? What you have to understand, though, Casey Stewart, lovely Casey. Casey getting married, or are we already married? Rhonda, lovely Sparks. Grandson Trista says, hi, my love, to you and Tracy. Hello. And Rhonda, I'm trying to do better. I'm trying to do better because my dad would say, son, it ain't right, you cussing. So I'm trying to do better, but sometimes these cockroaches will mess with me. But see, this goes back to what I said, before. When everybody said, oh, man, Micah Parsons, future Eagle, he wants to get out of Dallas. No, you don't. No, you don't. How many times have I said, if Micah Parsons were on the Cleveland Browns, would anybody watch his podcast? Seriously. Nobody care. If he was on the Eagles and did his podcast, nobody would care. Nobody would care. Zero. Zilch. Zinga. And I'm right. That's where Micah Parsons understands, I can take a little bit less. I can take a little bit less because I know I'm going to be able to skim off the top of being a Dallas Cowboy. And as bad as you guys talk about Dak Prescott, I remember before he got his big contract and Stephen Jones was talking about, Dak's got to understand that, as the quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys, you get a lot more opportunities, at doing advertising and things like that. And so, that's where you can leave a little more of the pie for everybody else because you can get paid. And I believe that year he made $100 million in advertising or collectively he had made it. He was doing Sleep Number. He was doing Frito-Lay. He was everywhere. He was everywhere. Now, Donovan McNabb did have his Chunky Soup one, and that's about it. And nobody cared about Chunky Soup and his mama. It just didn't matter. But being the Dallas Cowboys moves the needles. That's why they talk about it all the time. When they talk about your sorry-ass Eagles, nobody cares. The ratings go down. That's why Micah Parsons will sign a deal here. He recognizes this is where the bread's buttered. Now, that's not to say he's not going to try and put a foot in Jerry Jones's ass to say, Jerry, I want to win that Super Bowl so we can really just break the internet. And you and I know if the Dallas when the Dallas Cowboys win their next Super Bowl, it will break the internet. That's a fact. Shit will go crazy. But Janet Rogers, what's up? We got so many. Bobby Beninsky. Bobby, I'm jealous of what? What am I jealous of, Bobby? Bobby. But Bobby, I get it. y'all have tasted the sweet nectar of the Super Bowl twice in the last 8 years. I envy you. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not. But for me, I have been blessed. I don't know about you young guys. Roman, how are you doing? Tony Douglas, what's going on? I have tasted the sweet nectar not once, not twice, not 3 times, not 4 times, but 5 times a lady in my lifetime. I've had more than most. It's been a while. It's been a while, but I can reminisce about those great days. I can reminisce about those great days. I can remember. Here let me for those out there that are saying that the Cowboys, Kelly, how you doing? That the Cowboys Super Bowls, dusty old trophies don't mean anything, bro. I'm going to tell you how much they mean. I'm going to tell you how much it means. Because as a little kid, little snot-nosed little kid, sitting on the sofa as a little teeny kid, I remember when the Cowboys beat the Miami Dolphins. I can't tell you the plays that I remember those plays winning. I can't. But I can tell you what I do remember, which is better than any experience that any of you ever had winning the Super Bowl. Any of you Eagle fans right now. Because I can remember being on the couch right there with my dad after the Cowboys being the redheaded stepchild, losing in the Ice Bowl, losing not once but twice in the NFC Championship game to the Green Bay Packers, and losing in the Super Bowl with Craig Morton to the Baltimore Colts. I can remember how dejected my dad was when they lost to the Colts. But I can remember the joy and the excitement of my dad as a little kid being happy that they had won their first Super Bowl. And you know what? Cowboys could go through this year and win the Super Bowl, and it will never, ever be greater than that moment of seeing my dad happy as could be. So you can go through and tell me my dusty old trophies don't mean anything. That shit was so old and everything else. No, that was time with my father. That there's nothing in the world that can ever replicate that. So, enjoy. Ultra, I ain't playing with you, bro. Ultra, take your stupid ass takes and kiss my high yellow hind parts. I'm not going to cuss. It's one thing to talk about Dak Prescott and, you don't believe that he's the right quarterback. And that's fine. That's cool. That's okay. But this whole sexual innuendos, that you do, I'm sorry. It's immature and stupid and just freaking retarded. And, I'm embarrassed to actually say that we were at the draft last year together on the last day and we hung out like we were cool people. The shit that you do, bro, that ain't cool. Especially when you do that shit behind my back. Especially when you do that behind my back. Okay. Mark, I have experienced 2 with my son, and okay, well, great for you, Drew. Actually, I experienced 3 with my son, and he's 34 years old. So how about that, Drew? He was here when they won 3. That's all I want to see is with my dad, Mark. Shout out to Walker Wade. Walker Wade. All right, now that we got the craziness out of the way. So we got Micah Parsons. Micah, who showed up this week for optional teams workout, which I'm happy to see. I was ecstatic to see him there Monday. Wednesday, he didn't work out. Yeah, my son was born in 89, mind you. So he was here. He don't remember him, but he was kind of like me when I was a little baby. Oh, Drew. Hey, Drew. I know you somehow you keep claiming that you're a man of God. Don't get me in here cussing. Don't get me in here cussing, son. I'm trying to be better. It's literally 1 week from when I buried my dad. So don't piss me, because Drew, you're about this close to me just blocking you off my channel, because you come through and you send me an email and like, oh, we best buddy and I'm here for you, and then you talk about me with Ultra behind my back doing stupid takes. I'm not putting up with that anymore, Drew. Not putting up with it anymore. So if you want to be here and be part of the channel other than stupid stuff, by all means, you're welcome to be here. But you're not going to sit here and waste the other 220 people that are here online's time with stupid stuff, okay? And don't tell me what my son remembers or experienced or whatever. Not going to happen. Because most people that say they're godly aren't pricks and assholes. How about that? That's what it has to do with it. Because for somebody who claims to be a member or a highly person in the church, usually don't do the kind of things that you do, son. Okay? They just don't. I'm sorry, didn't email me. Excuse me, sent me messages on Facebook. Close enough. You sent me messages, Drew. Okay. Micah Parsons recognizes exactly what Cam Newton said. Being here with the Cowboys moves the needle, gets you paid, and gets you a job after you're done with football. That is 100% a fact. When people said, and I kind of said, I'm not sure why Dak Prescott would want to stay here with all of the asses like Ultra out here that just hate him. The amount of hate. Bobby Minisky just sent 5 gifts, membership gifts. If you get one, go to the community tab and you can get the address. You'll get the website address so we can send you your shot glass and your squeeze stress football, because the Cowboys make you drink and stress you out. Micah Parsons ain't going nowhere because he recognizes being here with the Cowboys is probably worth an extra $10 million a year for the rest of his life. As Cam put it, Moose Johnson, he ain't never got to worry about anything else. You can't be a man of God and Eagles fan. Shout out to Walker Wade. That is 100% right. Appreciate that. And that's why Michael will get his deal. It's just a matter of when. And if you're a Cowboy player, you don't really sweat it. You don't sweat it. It's not like the Cowboys have actually traded somebody and said, we're not going to pay you. They might franchise tag you. For a year, but eventually you're going to get your money. And it's just a matter of time, because they always fold at the end. So they did it with Dak twice. They did it with CD. They did it with everybody. Hey, Mark, what's up? Mado, what's going on? Super hot mom. Okay. Why did we didn't need to cut out super hot mom now. Come on. She just said, let's go Giants. There's nothing wrong with that. Don't block that one. By Willie. Let's go Giants. Willie, no, you don't need to block a let's go Giants. That's okay. Some of this other stuff we getting, that's another story. Eagles fans really low-key jealous of the 5 rings. They couldn't win one before 2018. Maybe that's it. I don't know. But, if I had just won the Super Bowl, I'm not hanging out on Eagle channels. Actually, I'd never hang out on Eagle channels other than my son, Philly 500, because we're friends. But other than that, and Dan Salio, because, I moved the needle and helped his ass out. But why, I don't know. So Micah Parsons worked out with the team, and he is trying to be a leader and recognizing that this is my team now. I'm about to get paid as one of the top players in the NFL, and now it's time for me to get a win. I remember talking with his dad after his rookie year, and Bobby, forget all of the talking heads and all the shows and everything else, because all they do is they're relating gossip, because everybody knows if you come up with a crazy trade scenario, the Cowboys are interested in this, that it's going to get you having people look at you. That's a fact. It just is. If I were to start a rumor, I could go here right now and say the Cowboys are interested in trading for Dallas Goedert and that they've offered a 5th-round pick for him. That shit would go viral right now. It would go viral right now because it's the Dallas Cowboys making a move. If somebody said Tampa Bay is interested in Dallas Goedert and they're going to offer a 5th-round pick, who would care? Seriously, who would care? It might not even be covered. So, Micah worked out with the team on Monday. We saw him working out at the Star with his trainer, and we saw this with him working out. Ruben Walls, 5 years of funk. 60 months as a member. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. Oh, shit to Ruben Walls. All right. This was Micah Parsons working out with his teammates, including Osa and Digazua. Look at him.
Good. Yes.
Look at Osa. Look at him. Look at him.
Yes. Good. We ain't even thinking about swiping right now.
They're getting that workout on.
Much better. Push. Good. Come on, push right now.
You got to heal it.
Yes.
I have to admit it. I miss the Zeke Elliott workouts. I miss the Zeke Elliott. Ruben Wall's thinking about being a tailgate member. If you do, make sure, let me know if you're going to upgrade to tailgate member so we can get you the rack and the shot glasses. And I'm working on getting shotty shot glasses will be the new glasses that we'll be coming out with for the tailgate members. Okay. So for everybody out there, that ain't me. That is not Mark Holmes. Drew's the type of dude that hangs out at a public bathroom to smell other people's turds. Sorry about your loss, Big Mark. MO search. Damn. That's pretty foul. Appreciate that super chat. Okay, Rhonda's back. All right. Now, here's an interesting one. And I was going to have Game Time was supposed to be on with me tonight, but he stood me up for his wife, man. I'm so jealous. I'm literally jealous. We had planned on doing this live stream together, and he said, I went out with the wife and to dinner, and the place was more crowded than it was supposed to be, and so we're running late. So shout out to Duncan Wright, 15 months. You're good people. So we didn't get together tonight because I wanted to hit him up with some different scenarios. Now, this was a crazy one from Brandon Laurie. Brandon Laurie, at first when I saw this one, I was like, it's not enough. But then I started thinking, actually, maybe it is. Okay. So per NFL Draft Scout, okay, this is not me. This is NFL Draft Scout. Everybody's putting out their proposed trades and moves, and, the Cowboys are interested in this guy, that guy. Help me, Rhonda. I changed my chat name. Member for more than 5 years. 5 years of funk. Shout out to Rhonda. Here's a proposed trade. Kansas City Chiefs are actively looking to trade up in round one. Alan Williams, before he got traded to Pitt, would you have traded for Metcalf and drafted Golden as a slot? I don't know if I would have traded for Metcalf and gotten Golden. I would have. I'd be happy with having either one of them. Although I do have, there is, to me, a little red flag with Golden, is he has a hurt ankle that he wasn't quite as fast doing his private workout because he had a hurt ankle. I hope it's nothing serious or anything that sets it back. So here's the proposal. The Kansas City Chiefs are actively looking to trade up in first round. So let's say Ted McMillan is gone, but Will Campbell is still there at 12. Do you take Will Campbell at 12, or do you trade with Kansas City? Hold on. Cheese 3.0. I'm sorry, man. I'm not ready to say that one, bro. I wish that were true, that Mozzie Smith is better than Jalen Carter. I wish. Sorry, you're just cutting the cheese on that one. That's literally. Sorry, I'm a homer. I'm a Cowboy fan. I can't stand the Eagles, but I can't go there. Sorry. Come on, we got. That's like AI, the fake AI stuff that comes out here with, where they talk about Matthew Stafford and Dak Prescott trade now, which is like there's no way that's happening. Both of them have been restructured. No, sorry, I'm sorry. Cheese. That must be some Limburger cheese or something. That's some stinky cheese right there. No, bro, I have hope. I have hope that he'll be there. Okay, back to this trade. Would you do this trade if Kansas City called the Cowboys for our number 12 pick, Bobby Bonitsky, need to protect Dak, draft O-line, and build in the trenches? Bobby, I got a counter to that as soon as I get finished with this. I got a counter on that one. I agree with you on building in the trenches, but I'll get back to that. So Kansas City takes your number 12 pick, and they give you their pick, which is number 32. So you're going back 20 spaces. But you also get their number 2 pick, which is 63rd this year. And then you get their 4th round pick, which would be 133. And then you'd get their 2026 pick, which is their 1st round pick, which will probably be late in the draft because it's freaking Kansas City and they're always in the top. We got a lot of spams falling sky. Let's go Giants. Okay, so we got Giants fans in here. I'm glad Giants fans actually have some life. So would you make that trade? In my mind, the 32nd pick, you might as well say is a 2nd round pick. The 63rd pick, you might as well say is a 3rd round pick. And the 133, you might as well say is a 5th round pick. And the 2026 pick, number 1, will probably be almost like a 2nd round pick. So basically, you're getting rid of your pick. You're going to get 2 seconds, a 5th, and 2 seconds, a 3rd, a 5th, and that's it for 1 pick. So at first I was like, that's not, to move back 20 spaces. But then, and this is where I planned on talking to Game Time, because he knows the players better, the prospects better to me. If it's really true that the meat of this draft is late 1st, 2nd, 3rd, you'd have 5 picks because you'd have still your 2nd pick, right? You'd still have your 2nd pick. You'd still have your 3rd round pick. You'd have 5 picks in the top 133. You could get a wide receiver. You could get the running back. You could get a D-back. You might be able to get a defensive lineman. Yeah. Actually, 2nd, 3rd, and 5th is what it really is. Joe, and that's what I see. That's why at first I was kind of like, no, that's not enough because their first round pick is so far back. If their first round pick was like 22 or 23, I'd say okay, yeah, that's good. But it also depends too on how it falls because here's my thinking. Okay, now Stephen Jones. First of all, to answer Bobby Beniski, shout out to Bobby Beniski. He's an Eagle fan that's got more stuff made from Jobu Sports. It literally probably looks like an Eagle Jobu man cave there. So I appreciate him. To your point about the offensive line, it's a chicken and the egg argument. Yes, it would be fantastic to have a great offensive line again. I will not lie about that. But here's what I know. 2021, 22, and 24, the Dallas Cowboys offensive line was atrocious. It was atrocious. Tyron Smith was in and out of the lineup. 24, he wasn't in the lineup at all. He had multiple injuries. He had the same injury that Dak Prescott has with the hamstring ripped off the bone. He had been injured most of the time. Remember, we signed Jason Peters, who couldn't play more than 20 plays a game. We had Joe Looney. Oh, Lola. I appreciate you too, Lola. Miss Hot Sauce. Shout out to Lola. Woo, with the damn. That's a big super chat. Damn. Sunday we'll do a drawing. What we're going to do for Sunday, I don't have it here, but I can show you the picture. I did a print like this, one right here, okay? Zach Martin, Travis Frederick, and, of course, Tyron Smith. The plaque is autographed by Zach Martin. So Sunday, we'll give that one away. So everybody who did a super chat tonight and any super chats we get Sunday and stuff, we'll do that. BB is the only solid solution. Well, no, what? Bobby. Tyler Smith, bro. Tyler Smith. Are you kidding me? You don't Tyler Smith. You can't remember Tyler Smith. Bobby. Come on. Tyler Guyton will do better. He will do better. And Terrence Steele is not a great pass blocker, but he is a good run blocker. He's ranked Pro Football Focus 14th in run blocking. And if the Cowboys is more balanced, it will help out his passing game. Straight up, facts. But here's the thing. So when you start talking about Looney Tunes and Biotish at center, when you start talking about Jason Peters and I kept calling Mr. Ogado. Damn, what's his name? He just walked. Damn. Not great players. Chris May. Shout out to Chris May. We haven't had a great offensive line. We ended up having Terrence Steele in 2020 starting as a rookie, undrafted, who didn't have a training camp because we didn't have a training camp because of COVID and no preseasons, and he had to start the whole year at right tackle. Bro, we ain't had a good offensive line. But here's what I know. The Dak Prescott has been used to working in traffic and hitting guys, and Dak Prescott is one of the best quarterbacks when it comes to the blitz and under pressure. Now, Drew and Ultra will tell you Dak just sucks, and that's fine. That's fine. Whatever. It's not like I care what they have to say. But you need weapons. If you can get yourself a running back and get yourself a legitimate wide receiver, somebody's using different names and spamming you, let's go Giant stuff. Yeah, OY. Yeah, I say OY and Lady Giant or whatever. I guess their life is just that sad. All we got is Spam and Mark Holmes' channel. Newhouse family, probably okay. Thank you, mods. Yeah, at first it was like, why are you blocking? It's like now I see what they're doing. Okay. somebody let the kids have the access code to the computer. Oh, no. Okay. Now, so the realist fan, okay, so I'm not saying ignore the offensive line. I'm not saying ignore it. But you can have a great offensive line, but if you don't have anybody to throw to it and you don't have a running back, it's not going to help you. Because here's the thing. It's the chicken and the egg. Understand this. If I have guys that can get open in 2 seconds, I don't mean I'm releasing the ball in 2 seconds, 2.5, then my offensive line doesn't have to hold up for 5 or 6 seconds. And it's going to take a guy, even if he's untouched, a second and a half to get to the quarterback. So if I have guys that get separation and get open, my quarterback will hit them. And my offensive line won't have to be as good. If I have a running back who can get yards after contact, and who can make some plays on his own, because we're better at running the football, then that means my play action is going to be better. So the opposite is also true too. If I only have CeeDee Lamb and I've got Jalen Tolbert and I've got Mingo Dingo and I got a hurt Jake Ferguson and I got no running game, you can give my quarterback 3-4 seconds of blocking with a great offensive line, but ain't nobody open to throw to, and he's going to get sacked. So if you're asking me which one do you need more, having the weapons that can spread out the field and force teams to cover 2 guys means that you're not going to have 8 men in the box as much. And this is where it has been. It's no pinks or in and out, man. No, neither. I don't want either of them, okay? They're all going to shorten your lifespan, bro. If I have to make a choice, I say I have to have some weapons. Now, whether you believe in Hakeem, who's coming to the Cowboys, or some Sadiq Charles, they have starting experience. They may not have had great starting experience, but they do have starting experience. As opposed to at the end of the training camp, we signed a bunch of guys that were USFL guys or guys that have been out of the NFL for a couple of years, or we draft a couple of linemen late in the draft that are complete rookies that are going out there. Having a guy that at least has some experience and having them in here now is going to enable them to get a better foot in the door. And when I look at it right now, we've got 15 offensive linemen. We got to be able to find 5 decent starters out of it. Gina, I got some eggs last night from Costco. Haven't seen any there for a while. It seems like the eggs over here have come down a little bit. The 18-pack, which was like $12.99, is like $8.99. So there's that. But everything else has kind of gone up. But, you need the eggs for Easter unless you're dying rocks, like some people are saying. Here we go again. Momo, you won't be there on the live show. Okay, Momo. Oh, you got my number, And everybody, we give Momo a hard time because he's always ass out. But Momo just lost his brother, and actually we'll see him. Momo, are you coming to my house for the draft? I'm going to have a draft party on Thursday. I know that that might be a hard time because you're coming up for the funeral and stuff, but we will be having a draft party at my house. So I can't believe I'm inviting a Commander fan. Oh, man. I'm inviting a Commander fan to my house. They're high here. I want Golden on the team. So does Jerry. So okay, but David Wiley, no, man. No Mount Spaghetti. That didn't help us in the draft. Mount Spaghetti did not. Maybe I'll make some Mark Spaghetti. How about that? And David, I need to get with you on what we going to do. We're going to have a draft party on Thursday night. So do we do the big sub? Do we pull out the big stud? I'm in VA. Do we pull out the big sub or do we just go with chicken wings? Oh, Okay, well, Mo, it's up to you, man. We're going to have a draft party at the house on Thursday night. The grief has been, and Rhonda, of course, lost her uncle, George Foreman, too. So definitely have prayers. Damn, Casey, you got eggs for $3.23 a dozen. That might be worth me driving to Memphis to get some eggs. That's cheap. Damn, that's only about an 8-hour drive. Mark wants to live stream from him. Okay. Lola says she's well, in that case, we'll bring some hot sauce. Okay, so what do the Cowboys do? I don't know. I'm almost feeling like Matthew Golden, they pushed him so much that I don't think it's going to happen. I think they're deflecting. And I still have a sneaking feeling. Everything's up in the air. Everything's up in the air because New Orleans definitely needs a quarterback. The Giants probably do, but I don't think they're going to get Sedor then. I think Sedor's going to start falling. And I think he's going to end up going to New Orleans. But I could see a case where the Raiders may be interested in Genty. The Raiders may be interested in Genty because Pete Carroll, he loves his running backs. Okay, he had, of course, Marshawn Lynch and things, and so he may go there. But I feel like if he goes past the Raiders, the Cowboys will start having some conversations about moving up to get him. Momo. You know what, Momo? I'm not going to call him a loser. I am going to say I was actually fortunate in 2012. 2012. See, here's what I'm going to say, because I know a little bit about Cam Newton that a lot of people don't know. He was actually a spokesman for United Way in 2012. I had to pick him up at the airport and actually drive him around Washington, D.C. for a couple of days. And Cam Newton is a guy who gives back to the community. Because here's what I'm going to tell you about Cam Newton. As you're sitting there talking about him being a loser, okay, is he eccentric and out there? Sure. But you know what this guy did? They had a youth symposium. We had Calais Campbell. We had Nnamdi Asomugha. And we had the safety from the Lions who used to play with the Texans. Can't remember his name right now. But we had about 18 NFL players, and Cam Newton. We had Brandon Carr, too. Cam Newton was one of them. And what the players did was they were working on mentoring youth. Now, here's what Cam Newton did. Most of them had like one youth that they worked with. Cam Newton went to the worst school in Charlotte, and with the principal said, I want your 3 worst students because those are the guys that I want to mentor and change their lives. One of the 3 that he had got in trouble, and he said, I'm not going to reward bad behavior. And he ended up bringing up the other 2. And he worked with those 2 students that were going to drop out, that were problem children. And both of those 2 students graduated. Cam Newton is the kind of guy who, during Christmas time, had a whole class that had a field trip that went to Dick's Sporting Goods, not knowing that it was sponsored by Cam Newton. That class, he ended up giving each one of the students $200 each to spend at Dick's Sporting Goods for Christmas. So as you go out here sitting there talking about somebody that's a loser, nah, I can't go with you on that one, bro. Somebody out there who's made a whole bunch of money, been an MVP in the NFL, been to a Super Bowl. It's kind of hard for me to call him a loser. Kind of hard for me to call that guy a loser. And he loved my oatmeal raisin cookies. So how about that? Golden has half a season production. I like him, but he scares me. See, Golden to me, you know, he's speed. He's got a lot of speed. okay? He's like a young Brandon Cooks. He's a great route runner like Amari Cooper and things. But I think I would rather have McMillan being a bigger target. He's kind of lanky. I get it. But that's a guy who reminds me kind of like Des Bryant, a guy who I can put the ball up there and he's going to be able to be physically able to go out and get it. That's my personal take, if we're talking. But if I can move back a few spots and get me another pick, I'm doing that, bro. Because I think you're going to still be able to get one of those two guys right there. I think you can get one of those if you're in the top 18. And maybe if Sador, because here's where I think it could happen is, I think Sador, the Giants keep doing these private workouts with him because I don't think they're looking at him for the number 3 pick. But I think they might look at it and say, if he falls, maybe we jump back in the first round and try and get him. And that maybe they want Travis Hunter, or if Travis Hunter goes to Cleveland, they take Abdul Carter. You can't – look, Cam Ward, Abdul Carter, Travis Hunter, you can't lose on. Those are about as much of a guaranteed picks as you're going to be able to get. After that, I don't know that it's going to be an ultimate impact player. And it may be that all of a sudden Sador starts to fall. And if he starts to fall, then does Pittsburgh try and get in front of New Orleans at 9? Or do they say Jackson Dart will be good enough? I don't know. Especially if you can move back in the first round and get a second and third round pick. And that's where I'm with you with Travis is I miss Mark's live. It's refreshing. So fresh and so clean. Thoughts on building the O-line? I would love to be able to. Now, my hope is we have assembled some really good coaches. Because here's the other part of the equation is, when you think about our offensive line in the 90s, it wasn't first-round draft picks. Tony Wise coached the hell out of those guys. Nate Newton was a castaway USFL guy. Mark Spignowski was an undersized guard that they made a center. Mark Tuinei was a defensive tackle. And they made those guys into one of the best offensive lines in football. And this is where I think coaching is going to matter. It's a shame, Lola would say, I would love Hunter. Now, if you end up saying, as Stephen Jones has kind of said, we're not done yet. He kind of hinted at some other moves. Randy CD mostly plays in the slot, which is true, which is why I think McMillan might be better, because I think you can kind of have him on the outside there as a big body to kind of get you possessions. If you get a chance, Mark, check Joshua Gray from Oregon State. Let me write that down. The dude from classes. Guy's a beast and a leader in the community. Okay. Joshua Gray. All right. I will definitely look at him. And as we come down the stretch here, I mentioned Pittsburgh, and that's because my buddy Richard, who's a diehard Steeler fan, I need to actually talk to him and see how he feels about the whole Aaron Rodgers situation. Did anybody else watch the Aaron Rodgers on Pat McAfee yesterday and think that he was high? Or was that just me? And he's literally saying, well, I told him I'd play for $10 million. So they offered you 30 instead of offering you the 10 that you said you'd pay for? If I were the Steelers, I'm okay with who we get and see how they play. Go Cowboys, shout out. Well, we're going to need some of our past draftees to actually step up. But if I were Pittsburgh, I would say, you know what? It's just not worth it. And just move on from Aaron Rodgers, because he's going to be a cancer that kills that team. He just is. You might be better off I'm going to say something crazy. You might be better off making a trade for Kirk Cousins.
Oh, shit. Oh, shit.
Seriously. The Steelers might be better off making a trade for Kirk Cousins. At least you ain't got the drama. And he's better than what you got right now. Thomas Garrett. Yeah, Aaron Rodgers was rest in peace yesterday. He was out there. There's dolphins swimming out there. Yeah, the dolphins, and it's my dog's. It's my baby dog here. Like you on the magic mushrooms there, Aaron? What's going on here? Okay, Cousins is done. Well, so is Aaron Rodgers. At least Cousins isn't a head case like Aaron Rodgers is. Aaron Rodgers, basically, he's talked about his girlfriend. He's talked about his friends and his relationships, that everything else is more important than me deciding if I'm playing football or not. Do I want that as my leader? Golden is Reggie Wayne 2.0 per Ultra Cowboys. That might be the most intelligent thing that I've heard from Ultra Cowboys in forever. Travis, especially if you could move back in the first round and get a second and third round pick. That definitely. Lola, Cowboys, it was complicated. That's what I mean. That's what I said. He looked, his eyes looked glazed over like, the Dolphins. Yeah, he was baked. It was like he was hanging out with Leo Bridgewater. It literally. Why didn't they keep Pickens and develop him? Pickens didn't do much. He was kind of spent. Rodgers can't stay in a relationship for long. Well, that's where I would just move on. I just would not be there. But Stephen Jones, as we come around the corner, Stephen Jones has hinted that they're not done as far as free agency goes and possibly making a big move. They have the money. Once they get Micah Parsons' deal done, they'll actually move in second as far as cap space. If they don't do anything else, I hope they at least get Bland locked down and Tyler Smith's deals done so we don't have to worry about them next year. But I'm hoping that we end up making a major move. And I think Keenan Allen, if we go in a different direction at wide receiver 2, that Keenan Allen may be a move that they make, depending on how this draft falls. And you don't know. If Gentry starts falling and gets past the Raiders, don't be surprised if the Cowboys try and package up the first and second to move up and get him. What's the word on Tyreek Hill? Tyreek Hill, Miami basically said, yeah, you can trade for Tyreek Hill, give us 2 number ones, which, of course, you're always going to say more than what you think you can get. Basically what the experts were saying is they're basically telling you that he's not tradable. I look at the other way. When they say, oh, yeah, you can offer us 2 number ones, and they're letting you know you can trade for him. And I think he's kind of worn out his welcome there, and that Miami, with them putting Jalen Ramsey on the trade block, I think that they're at the point of saying we have to rebuild. Oh, my God, Lola, I'd rather take Cooper back. I don't know that he's got that much left in the tank, though, Amari Cooper. He's kind of gotten up there. We should not move up for a running back. I'm not telling you that they should or shouldn't, but I can guarantee you that if he starts to fall, they will have discussions on that one. That seems to be a match made in Jerry's mind, that he loves some Austin Gentry. They think they're getting 2 numbers. Yeah, they think, Randy, yeah. That's what their GM came out and said. Yeah, well, let me go ahead and put it out there that, you want to trade for him, we'll be more than happy to take 2 number ones. Well, here's the thing, real fan. I'm going to tell you, I am a big fan of the idea of trading second-round picks because we get nothing out of our second-round picks. You want to know the list of second-round picks that have done good things for the Cowboys? There's Sean Lee, there's D-Law, and there's Diggs. That's it. We've had guys like Tristan Hill. We've had guys like Boss Man Fat. We've had guys like Randy Gregory, pass the Dutchie from the left. I hope Sam Williams changes that narrative, as well as Marshawn Nealon and Schoonmaker. But at the moment, we ain't had nothing to cheer about since Diggs in the second round. So if you believe that he is Saquon-esque, you have to think about it. Rhonda, you know you're a little bit of a freak too, like Dirty Sanchez. Oh man, yeah. I think we all wish we had gotten T.J. Watt over Taco Charlton. Yeah, I think we can all agree on that one. All righty, good people. I appreciate each and every one of you guys out here, and thank you all for all that you guys do. Ruben, shout out to you. 60 months. As well as help me, Rhonda, for as long as you've been up in here, too. You said you're over 5 years, too. I appreciate that. And especially Lola, Miss Hot Sauce, and everybody. Y'all really my family. Even you crazy ones out there like Drew and Ultra. Could we use another edge rusher? We can always use another edge rusher. And you want James Pierce Jr. out of your alma mater, Tennessee. All right. We could look at that. All right, good people. Turn out the lights. This party's over.
Turn out the lights. The party's over. They say that all good things must end. Call it a night.
Damn, Dirty.
The party's over. And tomorrow and next year starts the same old thing again.